Imagine spending like 10 hours just sweating in front of a mirror.
Oh, yeah. We have all been there.
Right. You're wearing your nice interview shirt. Maybe you're clutching a stack of index cards.
Just desperately trying to memorize things.
Exactly. Memorizing answers to those standard hypothetical interview questions.
The absolute classics.
Yeah, you completely know the drill. You prep for, well, what is your biggest weakness?
Or where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yes. You get those answers sounding just perfectly rehearsed.
Flawless.
And then you step into a modern AI interview, like the ones on platforms such as Mercor, and you just completely stumble.
It happens so often.
And not because of some wild trick question either.
Yeah.
It's because you find yourself unable to clearly explain a basic bullet point from a resume that you wrote like 3 years ago.
It really is one of the most common traps for candidates right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when preparing for these AI interviews, people naturally tend to hyperfixate on the unknown.
Right. They want to be ready for anything.
Exactly. They want to prepare for every possible curveball, every weird surprise scenario the system might throw at them.
But, why do we do that? We spend so much energy getting frustrated and worrying about the unpredictable parts while completely ignoring the very map that is literally already in our hands.
Well, it usually happens because we assume we already know our own lives.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right. We typed up the document, so we naturally assume we can talk about our own experiences effortlessly.
But we really can't always do that.
No, that assumption is exactly the trap. I mean, writing a resume only takes a few minutes of copying, pasting, and, editing.
Yeah, it's quick.
But speaking clearly about that exact same information under pressure, that takes actual dedicated practice.
Especially when that bullet point is from 3 jobs ago.
Exactly.
You might vaguely remember the project in your head, but trying to recall the specific metrics on the spot.
Or the exact software tools you use.
Right. That's usually when the nervous rambling starts.
Which brings us directly to what we're exploring today.
The core mission.
Yes. We want to help you successfully navigate AI interviews. And the most critical realization you could have is that your own resume is the map.
The map. I love that.
How well you know your resume often controls the exact questions you might be asked.
That requires a pretty massive shift in mindset, though.
It really does.
Because in an AI interview, the system doesn't really do small talk.
No, it doesn't. There's no chatting about the weather.
Right.
It doesn't ask how your weekend was to break the ice. The system just reads your words closely.
It just gets right down to business.
Yeah. It looks at the skills, the tools, and the specific projects you listed on the page. Then, in many cases, it forms a conversation strictly based on the exact text you provided.
So it's essentially using your own words to build the interview from the ground up.
Precisely.
I like to think of your professional resume like a menu at a restaurant.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, like if you're a chef and you put a really fancy, complex French pastry on your menu.
You better be able to bake it.
Exactly. You must be ready to bake it when a customer orders it. You can't just list the pastry to look impressive, and then when someone actually orders it, tell them, well, I actually only watched a tutorial video about it 5 years ago.
Yeah, that wouldn't go over well. If you run a restaurant with 100 items on the menu, there's a clear expectation that your kitchen can make every single one of those items on demand.
Right.
So if a skill is on your resume, there's a professional expectation that you can serve it. You have to be ready to explain it clearly.
Wait, though. If my resume is a menu, I've got a major problem right now.
How so?
Because for the last 10 years, career coaches have told us to basically stuff our resumes with every single software tool we've ever touched.
Keyword stuffing.
Yes. We do this keyword stuffing just to get past traditional HR screening filters. We cast a really wide net.
Sure.
So if we're supposed to do that, isn't it completely normal to have a few things on the menu that we aren't exactly experts at?
Well, in traditional settings, that strategy might have worked to get a human hiring manager to glance at your file.
Right, to get your foot in the door.
But in this specific AI format, keyword stuffing can often be quite dangerous.
Because the system might actually order the French pastry.
Exactly. It might just order it. Every single item on that document is treated as a valid, open topic of conversation.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you list a fancy software tool that you barely know, just to get a keyword onto the page, the system might ask a highly targeted question about that exact tool.
And if I can't explain it, my answer gets really messy.
And when things get messy, it becomes much harder for the system to follow your logic.
which I'm guessing throws the whole interview off.
Yeah, it might make the rest of your interview feel incredibly disjointed.
Yeah, I think that's where the disconnect happens for a lot of us. We're just so used to talking to human hiring managers.
It's what we've been trained for.
Exactly. If I list a tool I barely know and a human asks me about it, I might be able to charm my way out of it.
You can deflect.
Yeah, I might just smoothly pivot the conversation back to something I'm genuinely good at. A human interviewer might give you the benefit of the doubt if they, appreciate your overall enthusiasm.
Or if you just connect on a personal level over a shared interest.
Right. Humans use intuition.
They do. They can fill in the blanks if a candidate tells a kind of messy, unstructured story.
They get the vibe.
Yeah, they might let a vague answer slide because they get the general gist of what you're trying to say, but an AI system operates quite differently.
It doesn't read vibes.
No, not at all. It might be helpful to briefly think of this system like an accountant checking a ledger.
Okay, so you're saying the AI is literally just auditing my sentence structure, like looking for receipts.
In a way, yeah. I mean, an accountant doesn't care about your passion or your stress levels or, how hard you tried.
Right, they just want the numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah?
They only care about connecting a cause to an effect in the ledger.
Okay, I see.
In a similar way, an AI system relies heavily on the structure of your answer. It reads your words closely to connect the skill you listed with a specific action you took, and then a measurable result you achieved.
So if I just mention a tool in passing, but I don't structurally link it to a concrete outcome, the system might not clearly see my competency at all.
Often it won't. It follows a very literal pattern. If the cause and the effect aren't clearly linked in your sentences, the system might struggle to understand what you actually did.
And why it mattered to the business.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But applying that literal logic brings up another major human instinct that we really need to tackle.
No, which one?
The I versus we dilemma.
Oh, yes. This is a very common place where candidates trip up.
Because, we're taught from our very first jobs to share the credit.
Be a team player.
Right. Saying we instead of I shows teamwork, humility, collaboration. It honestly feels wrong and kind of arrogant to sit in an interview and constantly say, I did this and I did that.
It's a very polite human instinct. But remember how the system processes information.
The accountant ledger.
Right. AI systems often need to understand your specific personal role to properly evaluate your skills.
So when I say we to a human, they understand the polite nuance. They assume I'm being a humble leader, but they still know I probably did the heavy lifting.
Usually.
But the AI system might take the word we completely literally.
It might assume the skill literally belongs to a group, not directly to you.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Think about it practically. If you say, we launched the new mobile app, the system might not know if you wrote the complex code for the app or if you just organized the weekly team meetings and ordered the lunches.
Hey, both of those are valuable. You definitely need someone who can keep morale high.
Oh, absolutely. Both are incredibly valuable for a business, but they demonstrate entirely different skill sets.
Very true.
Organizing meetings is a great administrative skill, but it's not software development.
Yep.
Using the word I ensures your personal role becomes crystal clear.
It removes the ambiguity.
Yes, it allows the system to easily assign the specific competency directly to you.
Okay, so it's not about bragging. It's just about providing clarity so the system can follow your answer more easily.
Precisely.
So if we know we need to be specific and we know we need to use I, how do we logically present these statements? Because honestly, if I just throw a bunch of random I statements at the system, it might still sound like a mess.
You need a framework.
Okay, what kind of framework?
Well, the most reliable way to organize your answer for a system that looks for structure is the STAR method.
Oh, STAR.
Situation, task, action, and result.
Now, I know everyone listening has probably heard of the STAR method. It's like standard day one interview advice.
It is very common.
But why is it so crucial for an AI system specifically? Like, why can't I just tell a natural, engaging story the way I normally talk to a colleague?
Because a natural human story often jumps around.
Oh, yeah, we do go on tangents.
We do. You might start with the exciting final result, then jump back to the beginning context, and then maybe mention a random tool you used in the middle of the project.
Just kind of weaving it all together.
Right, but that logic becomes hard for a system to trace. The STAR method provides a linear, highly organized path.
It puts things in a predictable order.
Exactly. It separates the background context from your specific actions and the final outcome. It creates a clear chain of events.
It basically organizes the information into a format the accountant can easily read.
Perfect way to describe it.
But there's one part of the STAR method that I know trips up almost everyone, even experienced professionals.
Blending the task and the action together.
Yes. People always mix those two up.
It's so common.
They think the task they were assigned is the exact same thing as the action they took.
It's crucial to separate them, though, especially when you want the system to follow your answer easily.
So let's clearly define the difference without getting bogged down in jargon.
Yeah.
The task is the goal. It's the overarching problem that needed solving, or the objective you were assigned by your boss.
Right.
For example, my task might be reduce loading times on the main website.
That's the objective, but the action is the how.
The how, right.
It's the specific step-by-step work you personally did to achieve that goal. So the action would be, I optimized the image sizes using a compression tool, and I rewrote the database queries.
Okay, but why does that distinction matter so much to the AI?
Because if you just state the task and then jump straight to the result, the system might completely miss your actual competency.
Oh, I see.
It knows what the goal was, and it knows the final outcome, but it doesn't know how you did it. The action is where your real skills live.
So the task is what I needed to do, and the action is the exact steps of how I did it.
Yes.
And if you skip the how, the system essentially has nothing to evaluate.
Nothing at all.
It's like telling a math teacher you got the right answer,
Yeah.
but refusing to show your work.
That's a great way to put it. The system needs to see your work.
You know, to make this really practical for everyone listening, I think we should do some rapid-fire mini role plays.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, we need to demonstrate the massive difference between a normal, human-friendly answer and a structured STAR answer tailored for AI.
Let's do it.
And I want to make these bad answers realistic, not like cartoonishly bad, but the kind of answers a genuinely good employee might give if they don't understand how the system works.
Okay, I'll act as the system evaluating the candidate, and you can be the candidate.
Perfect, let's do it. For the first role play, let's use a scenario about data analysis. Imagine there's a bullet point on my resume about evaluating customer data.
Ready when you are.
Go ahead and ask me the question.
Please explain a specific project from your resume where you evaluated data to solve a problem. How did you approach it?
Well, when we looked at the customer feedback, our priority was really getting the team aligned. The data was a bit of a mess, so we brought the key stakeholders together, reviewed the overarching trends, and pushed for a cohesive strategy to improve the sorting tools. It really helped the customer experience.
Okay, let's stop and critique that answer.
I mean, it sounds incredibly polished to me.
You think so?
Yeah, if I said that to a human executive, they would probably love it. It sounds strategic.
A human executive might love it because it highlights leadership and big picture thinking.
Right.
But an AI system might struggle to find your specific competency.
Really?
Yeah, think about it. You used we the entire time, so your personal role wasn't clear.
I did say we.
You also talked about overarching trends and sorting tools without naming anything specific. There was no clear cause and effect structure related to actually evaluating data.
Oh, wow. You're right. I talked about team strategy instead of the actual data analysis.
Yeah.
I completely dodged the technical part of the question to sound like a leader.
Exactly. Now try it again. This time, follow the STAR method strictly. Situation, task, action, result. Show the system your exact work.
Okay, take two. The situation was that our customer feedback forms weren't categorizing correctly. My task was to identify the missing information. For my action, I used Python to analyze the text data, and I personally created a new set of search rules. As a result, I processed the data 20% faster.
Notice how different that feels.
It feels much more direct, almost a little dry, honestly,
It might feel dry to a human, but it's incredibly clear to a system.
because of the structure.
Yes, you used I. You mentioned a specific tool Python instead of vague sorting tools.
Right.
And you gave a clear, measurable result. Processing data 20% faster. Your example is much easier to understand, and the system can clearly read your competency.
It just forces me to actually answer the prompt instead of deflecting to high-level strategy.
Exactly.
Let's do another one. Let's do a role play for quality assurance, or QA.
Okay.
Imagine I'm looking at a QA bullet point on my resume.
Tell me about a time you ensured accuracy when evaluating the quality of an output.
Quality is really a culture thing for me. I work closely with the development team to make sure we are always keeping standards high. We had regular check-ins, and over time, you could really see the team taking ownership, and the product just got a lot more stable.
All right, let's analyze that. What stands out to you there?
Well, again, it's a great leadership answer, but it's incredibly vague on the details.
Very vague.
I talked about fostering a culture and things getting more stable.
And a system cannot measure a culture, and stable is highly subjective.
Right, it's just a feeling.
Yes. It needs to see a clear, objective process.
Huh?
Try it again with the STAR framework.
Okay. Our company was testing a new text generation tool, and it occasionally produced incorrect facts. My task was to ensure accuracy. For my action, I used a specialized data validation tool to cross-reference the output with trusted company documents. As a result, I achieved a 30% reduction in errors.
That was excellent. You emphasized I. You mentioned a specific action, cross-referencing with a data validation tool.
Instead of just talking about culture.
Right. And you replaced a subjective feeling of stability with an objective result. A 30% reduction in errors.
Which the system can easily measure.
The system follows your answer much more easily now.
Okay, let's do one final role play. This one is for a complex writing project.
Sounds good.
I think everybody has that one slightly exaggerated communication bullet point on their resume.
Oh, absolutely. Here we go. Walk me through a specific writing project from your resume. How did you structure it to make sure the reader understood the complex topic?
The engineers were highly technical, so my main focus was bridging that communication gap. I facilitated a lot of cross-functional meetings to get everyone on the same page, managed the stakeholders' expectations, and we eventually delivered a manual that everyone felt really good about.
Okay, what do you think went wrong in that attempt?
Oh, I totally missed it. I completely missed the prompt.
You did.
The question specifically asked how I structured the complex topic. I completely ignored the actual writing process and just talked about managing stakeholder expectations instead.
Yes, you missed the core competency the system was asking about.
I was just throwing buzzwords at it.
This happens all the time when candidates try to pivot to their comfort zone. Try it one more time using the STAR sequence and focus purely on the writing structure.
All right, let me try. Our software company needed a manual for a highly technical product. My task was to write a guide that beginners could understand. For my action, I used a plain text editor, and I broke the complex information into simple, numbered steps with clear headings. As a result, our customer support calls regarding the product dropped significantly.
Spot on. You named the tool, a plain text editor.
Right.
You clearly defined the action, breaking information into simple, numbered steps. And the business result was clear. A drop in customer support calls.
Forcing myself into this sequence leaves absolutely no room to wander off into irrelevant topics.
It really keeps you grounded.
I can't hide behind buzzwords like stakeholder alignment. It makes the example so incredibly clear.
And that brings us to a very empowering realization.
Which is?
You might feel anxious because you can't control every single question an AI system might ask you.
That is the scary part, yeah.
But you absolutely can control the menu you give it.
Oh, right. Back to the menu.
Yeah.
So if you can't explain a resume line clearly, using that strict STAR method we just practiced,
You should rewrite that line.
or just remove it from the menu entirely.
Exactly. You hold so much more control over the direction of the interview than you realize.
It's all about what you put on the page.
Yes. To help you prepare, we want to leave you with a final practical checklist.
I love a good checklist.
Before your next AI interview, sit down with your resume, go through it line by line, and ask yourself these 4 simple questions for every single bullet point.
Okay, question 1. Can I explain this clearly?
Question 2, can I give a real concrete example?
Question 3. Can I show what I personally did using the word I?
And question 4, can I explain the specific business result?
4 simple questions.
If you can answer yes to those 4 questions for everything on your menu, you'll be in a very strong position.
It really takes all the mystery out of the preparation. You don't have to guess the curveballs. You just have to intimately know your own map.
Exactly.